Hi everybody, in this video I'll be sharing with you guys a roundup of my top luxury concealers. So if you guys are interested, do stick around. That was Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Christina. I do product reviews on luxury beauty, skincare, and makeup. Occasionally, I might share a luxury accessory review or a vlog here and there. So if you have not, please press the subscribe button down below and the notification bell beside it so that you can be notified every time I upload a new video. So today, you guys, I thought what I would do instead of just reviewing the new Gucci concealer was to actually rank my top luxury concealers, at least top 5 or top 6, and also share with you guys a few of the new launched concealers that actually didn't work for me in the end. So let's begin. So before anything, you guys, just a few disclaimers out there. My skin is combination. My skin type is combination. I have mature aging skin, so a lot of how I've experienced these products and my reviews of these products are, of course, my personal experience with the product and my skin age and my skin type. So it might not necessarily apply to you, but these are the observations I've had for these products. They're the ones that have worked for me and have not worked for me. So let's begin with the very first one, which is the Gucci concealer. This is the newest one and one of the most I've been excited about in a long time. It has really cute packaging. Of course, it's a luxury concealer. All the products, as always, will be linked in the box down below. So prices and everything you're gonna see in the link. This is how the packaging looks. Now, for my skin color, I guess, my skin shade for MAC, just as reference, NC30, and then for Dior I go between 2N to 2W or 2.5N or 2.5W. It really depends. Oh my gosh, I think I've thrown the box, so I'm trying to just find the shade. Finally able to see the shade. So the shade that I have for the Gucci concealer is 23W. Now this one is described as full coverage with natural finish. I'm not going to go through ingredients, you guys, but just as an overall umbrella, most of these luxury concealers, they're a bit on higher price range, of course, have key skincare ingredients. Some of them actually, a lot of them actually have hyaluronic acid, but to me, when it comes to concealers, it's not a skincare product. You're just dotting it on certain areas of your face, not even your entire face. So ingredient wise doesn't really play a big role for me because I already have my skincare or my tint or other complexion products that does the job for that. So the only thing I'm looking for when I'm reviewing a concealer is the finish and how it performs and the coverage that it gives. So this is a full coverage concealer. Let me just swatch this for you guys. This is 23W. This was described, I think, as a light medium with yellow undertone. This is what I currently have, or I put on today. This is definitely very brightening for the under eye. I think it does a good job in spot concealing as well, but where I found this really to stand out is brightening of the under eye. I do have to say though that I still do see some creasing, but to be honest, you guys, I don't think I have any concealer right now, no matter how holy grail they are for me, that doesn't fall into creases or fine lines, especially for more mature aging women. Our under eye area is, not only is it very thin skin, but usually fine lines and wrinkling, like it happens more commonly and I guess frequently there. It's something, honestly, that as I'm getting older, it's really one of the signs of aging that I see. Like I see videos and photos of mine from 3 years ago and it's quite different, and it's really a challenge for me now to never have any creasing under the eye. And this is regardless of what concealer I'm using. Even concealers that are holy grail or were holy grail for me before, now they fall into my creases, and I think it's just because nature. I have never done anything Botox or anything on my face, so I have creasing under my eyes. It's just the reality of getting old. But that's the only call out I would say. But in terms of brightening and coverage, I think it is full coverage for sure. Now that it's dried down a bit, you can see the finish. It's not radiant. It's also not a flat matte. But so that is the Gucci concealer. I will share with you guys my ranking of all the concealers I'm gonna discuss at the very end. The next concealer I want to share with you guys, and this is new to me as well, is the Hourglass Airbrush Concealer. The shade that I have is in Beach, B-E-E-C-H, not beach like the beach. So this one is described as well as a full coverage concealer. It has a natural finish as well, and it is weightless and waterproof. So of all the concealers, this is the only one that claims to be waterproof. I also like the doe foot applicator in this. I think this one to me is my favorite. And because it has, it's not even tapered. It's not a special shape, but it bends. I don't know if that makes sense, but so when you're doing it under your eye, so this is the shade of Beach. It's a little darker than the Gucci. Still a good shade match though, so the Gucci is really nice for brightening. And this one I think is the most full coverage immediately. So that's how it looks. This one feels a little, it's funny because it says weightless, but I think because of the ingredients, this actually feels a little thicker and serum-like than the Gucci. Like this one has a little more tackiness than the Gucci, but I think for full coverage and amazing instant spot concealing, this is amazing, amazing. Next concealer I want to share with you guys is by Charlotte Tilbury. This was a go-to favorite of mine for the summer. This is a Beautiful Skin Radiant Concealer. The shade that I have is in number 6 medium. This one is just a regular, a little tapered doe foot applicator. And let me show you the swatch. This one is not described as full coverage. This is described as medium but buildable. So when I want a more natural look, but especially during the summer, you can see how radiant that looks. It looks very skin-like. So if you want if you have perfect skin and you're very young skin, youthful skin, this I would recommend. I would really recommend, because even in terms of price point. So this one is medium. I like medium. For me is enough just to do a little coverage or touch up for certain areas of my face. And I like the finish. Because of the radiant finish, it just looks like skin and a little more natural than the previous two. So that is the Charlotte Tilbury. I use this a lot last month during summer when I went all over the US for summer. This was my go-to. I had my other concealer, but for some reason, this is what I was always reaching for. The next product, this is, or was, I'm not so sure. Well, yeah, it's one of the holy grails. This is the Dior Forever Skin Corrector. This has already gone through a reformulation. So, the original one, I could do 2N, but for the newer one, it comes in the glass bottle. I'm a 2W. This one is described as a full coverage, waterproof. It's not described as matte. It's just full coverage, 24-hour wear, and transfer proof. Sorry, not waterproof. So let me show you this one. This one has one of the larger doe foot applicators, which is also good because you just need 3 dots, or if you just want to swipe it under your eye, it covers a larger area. Okay, do I still have space? Let's put it over here. Okay, so that one is 2W. Okay, so this one, okay, I'll tell you why this concealer is beautiful and amazing. You can see the coverage. It is full coverage. It's more lightweight and feels very weightless more than the Charlotte Tilbury. Even if the Dior doesn't really market itself as being weightless, for something that's full coverage, the texture and the consistency is beautiful. I think it also, because of its lightness, and even if it's, in spite of being full coverage, it's still very light, so it really is so beautiful under the eye. I think it is one of the most beautiful. I do have my Holy Grail OG top one, but this one is like super close to that. So the texture and the consistency is super lightweight. It gives you full coverage. The finish, it's not a matte, it's not radiant, and I think it has one of the best finishes of all the concealers that I'm speaking of today. I think it has one of the best finishes. So this one, I think all ages, all skin types, I think gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. So this is definitely going to be ranking very high in this list. Last but not the least, Holy Grail OG. There's two from this brand. I think this brand cannot be beat when it comes to concealer. And I'm speaking of nothing but Cle de Peau. They have the Skin Correct. Okay, I'm gonna get this right. This is just the concealer broad spectrum SPF 25 stick, and then they have the corrector for eyes, which is like a click pen. I think, wait you guys, I think I forgot to mention that the Charlotte Tilbury has SPF 30. Yeah, I think that's about it. But again, you guys, it's a concealer. I'm not looking for sunscreen benefits from a concealer, so that can kind of go in the sideways. Okay, for full coverage, amazing Holy Grail OG, the Cle de Peau stick is just something else. The shade that I always get is ochre. This is also, I believe, the most expensive concealer in the market. Oh my gosh, I can't twist it up that much anymore. That means I usually have a backup. That means I'm running out. Oh, okay, I have another one. I have two. Oh, I have three. That's how much I love this. Oh, okay, let me get the newer one, but they're all in ochre. Okay, so the newer one has, like, in the packaging, well, they're all new now, so it's a bit more goes inside. Okay, do I have space somewhere? Let's put it over here. I shouldn't have worn my bracelets. Okay, let's put it over here. Can you guys see that? But I think more than just being full coverage, it is also the shade match on me. It's just like crazy. This is Cle de Peau. It's a Japanese brand. It is the premium prestige brand in the same house as, I'm gonna get this right, Shiseido. So it's under the umbrella of Shiseido, but this is their premium brand. This is how it looks right here. When I say full coverage, so sometimes when I have acne scars, and even the texture of the cream is so creamy, but blends so easily, but doesn't also, it's not too creamy where it's just sliding off your face. You can literally just dot it and it's gonna just give you, and you can tap it in. And the amazing thing about this, you guys, even if it's a stick concealer, if I dot it under my eye and I just tap it in, it looks amazing. That sounds crazy because usually for stick concealers that are full coverage, it's just like spot concealing or redness, and then you have to really blend it in. I don't know what magical thing they have here, but even for the under eye it works, and it's not too heavy for the under eye. So when I'm traveling, this stays in my purse. In my purse that I carry as a carry-on, like one of my touch-up things. I don't mess around because this one, even if your foundation breaks down, sometimes you look like shit when you're traveling. Like, have this and touch up with this, you are gonna be good. And then last but not least, the color corrector, the corrector for eyes, Cle de Peau again. Now this one was specifically made for the under eye, and I think for the under eye this is holy grail. Now you're gonna be like, but why do you need, if this one works great for the under eye? Because this one works better. They actually made a product that works better, if you can believe it. You click it. I have a backup of this. These two concealers, they're a bit harder to find, but if I'm running out, it is something that I will immediately replace or already have a backup of when I know I'm running low, because it is holy grail. If I want to look super good or I'm going to be traveling, I can only bring one concealer. The Cle de Peau is what I'm bringing. So let me show you this one. This is the Cle de Peau stick, the Dior. My God, I'm running out of space. Okay, this is the corrector for under eye. The shade that I have again is an ochre. The applicator is gorgeous. It applies, it's like a brush, it's like a paintbrush, but the size of it is just gorgeous. When you click the pen, it also doesn't just ooze out a hot mess where it's just like you're wasting so much product. The dispenser of the product is amazing. Like, it just, like one click, you see, because of the way it's done, like the mechanism of it, you see when there's a little product already, then you can immediately stop. So it doesn't waste product because of the dispenser, but the brush is an amazing applicator as well. And you can directly apply this. A few swipes with this, you don't even need a brush. You literally tap it in and it's just magical, magical, magical. It's also perfect. The weight of the product itself is really perfect for the under eye. Like I said, all these products crease on me now just because I'm older and I just have fine lines crazy now under my eye, but it still shows the least settling and fine lines for me under the eye. It's still the most flattering and I don't have any issues with it. It doesn't break down quickly. It's just gorgeous. Yeah, so that's the corrector for eyes. So I'm gonna round up everything and share with you guys my ranking. Okay, so let me rank them for you guys. So these are my top 5 or top 6. I think that's the amount of concealers I've discussed today. And then I'm gonna share a few disappointments with you guys. So let me begin with ranking them from least to the most holy grail. But these are my top luxury concealers. At number 5 is going to be the new Gucci concealer. This is full coverage. I like it. It's going to be ranking on my 5th just because the finish, not very, I think the others have better finish than this, but in terms of coverage and texture, I do like it. I think it's a beautiful concealer, but I just think that the others that I've shared here are a bit nicer, whether that is in coverage or in finish, but most likely it's going to be because of the finish. This is why, to me, this ranked the least, because the first few times I tried this on, I just felt like it, so it's the first one right here. It looks and feels a little more dry than the rest, a little less nourishing. And for aging skin, that accounts for a lot, especially when you're applying it under the eye. It's what I have on right now. I wanted to use it. So, I mean, not so bad. It's still very brightening. I'm not going to judge it based on my fine lines because, like I said, they all crease on me now. But for me, this is top 5. But a little ranking lower than the rest because of the finish. I think the others have a better finish. Okay, the top 4. This one went up very quickly. This is the Vanish Airbrush Concealer from Hourglass. I didn't even think I would like this, but it immediately went to top 5, skyrocket. Why? Because this, I think, is the best full coverage. The others, I know that the Gucci, the Dior, Cle de Peau stick is also touted as full coverage, but this one is the, I think, the one that is like a small dot, full coverage, and beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. The finish of this is really good. The only reason why it's ranking lower for me is because even in spite of being described as supposed to be a lightweight or weightless kind of concealer, I actually feel the weight of this the most compared to the others. I think because there's a lot of skincare ingredients added to this, it really feels more like a serum. It's this one right here. You can see the coverage versus the Gucci. The Gucci is supposed to be full coverage, but you can see the Hourglass here. And the finish is actually really beautiful. It's called a natural finish, but you can see that the Gucci looks a bit more matte and dry. This one just looks like healthier skin kind of natural finish. So this is my top 4. Okay, my top 3 luxury concealer. It's gonna be the Charlotte Tilbury Beautiful Skin Radiant Concealer, because that's exactly what it is. It has a radiant finish, and I hope I can still find it in my swatch here. Oh my gosh, I don't know if I can still, I think it's this one right here. This one is not full coverage. You're gonna see that as compared to the others, right? You can see it, but this one looks the most like just skin. Just skin. It's medium, you can build it, but this one has the most skin-like finish. So if you have amazing skin, younger skin, you don't really have that much to correct, but you have a few maybe blemishes that you want to correct or sunspots, you just want to look super flawless, or you just use a skin like a tinted moisturizer, but you have some areas you want to, you know, conceal a bit more, I highly recommend the Charlotte Tilbury. I think in terms of skin-like finish, most natural, invisible to the eye finish, it's this one, but it still gives you coverage. Top 2. This is already holy grail. This is holy grail status. It's been for years. It's so close to my top 1. It's the Dior Forever Skin Corrector. This is a natural, it's a full coverage as well. Where is my Dior? Where is my Dior? Can I still find it? I think this is my Dior. This is my Dior, and it has a natural finish. This one is full coverage, but I think it's the best full coverage liquid one. It's really, as you can see, it melts into the skin. You cannot see once you blend this in, especially with a beauty blender, but even with your fingers, if you tap it in, like gone, vanished, invisible. You cannot see it laying on the skin. The finish is like invisible. Invisible, 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 but it still gives you coverage. This one to me, I think, has the best texture in terms of the liquid concealers. This has the best texture in the market, meaning it feels weightless. It doesn't tout itself as that, but it really does feel weightless. And once it dries down or it sets, it's not gonna budge. It says it's 24-hour. I've never worn makeup for 24 hours. Thank God I've never had to feel like I needed to. In spite of that, it really lasts a long time, and I barely have issues with the wear of this. It just, I need to retouch less, but even if I need to retouch, let's say I want my skin to look a bit more refreshed or flawless in the middle of the day, or if I'm going to transition from work to going out after, it builds up, like I can add it to certain areas and it doesn't get cakey or build up badly. It just still looks the same. It's not like I built it up so much, but this is a beautiful, beautiful concealer. This is still holy grail for me. Okay, top holy grail, top 1. I know there's 2, but this is one brand, so I'm gonna just deal with it like one. Cle de Peau, like what I've said earlier, this just the magic and sorcery that's in this. I'll never know. I'll never be able to define or describe for you guys. The stick concealer, hands down, is the best full coverage concealer in the market. I'm saying that not just as for personal use, but I think even for like pro use, professional use. Of course, it's pricier, so you're probably not going to find this in your professional makeup artist kits, but if you're working with celebrities or personalities, definitely I'd be using this. The corrector for eyes, I think, is the best under eye brightening corrector as well, for reasons that I gave above as well. So definitely holy grail, Cle de Peau concealers. Like, you're just gonna run down a few of the disappointments for me. Giorgio Armani concealers, I have the Luminous Silk and also the Corrector that everybody used to rave about before, the one with a really fine like needle-like brush. It just didn't do much for me. And then the Luminous Silk one, it's really a matte. It looks so dry. The finish on the skin, even if the applicator is nice, it feels dry and it just looks dry. But even when I first applied it, it looks dry. Second one is, this is going to be a little controversial because I like a lot of her products too, but the Rare Beauty Concealer, which really has a lot of rave reviews, just didn't work for me. I think for younger skin, but the same, it felt heavier on my skin. I didn't like the finish as well. I think it just like, again, it's full coverage. I believe it's full coverage, yeah, but it just felt and looks so dry on my skin. I have combination skin, I have dry areas, but the finish, it just did not work for me. Another one that I don't have anymore is the Makeup by Mario. That one was a hot mess. That one I returned immediately. I think for more mature aging skin, it's not very ideal. That one, like less than an hour, my fine lines looked so bad and so dry under the eye, more than any other concealer. It just, any fine lines in my face, it just seeped into it and it made it more visible, and it made my skin look dehydrated and just not good. It actually made my skin look worse. So that one went back immediately. And last but not least, Tower 28. I can't really recall, it went back immediately as well. I think for younger skin, it's gonna be good, but finish wise and even the way it just performed, I don't know, it just didn't do anything for me. I felt like my e.l.f. concealer and other inexpensive drugstore concealers from Maybelline even do better, so that went back for me. So that is it, you guys. That is my roundup of my luxury concealers and some concealer disappointments. I hope you guys found this video interesting and informative. If you have any questions, you can leave it down below. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope you guys have a great day or a great evening.